What's going on, everyone? You're here with Dylan Love, and I thought today, while I'm out on my walk, that I would stop here and talk a little bit about joy. As you can see, I found this little sanctuary here, which is very nice for me just to stop and share the joy here. You guys can probably hear the cicadas and hear the birds in the background. And as we, just listen to the cicadas and listen to the sounds of the birds, we can just observe how everything here behind me is, happening without our control. It's happening without any input whatsoever from us. The birds behind me build their nests without our help. The sun rises without our help. Even seemingly our own body, right? When we're breathing, we aren't sitting there going, okay, in breath, out breath. It's all just involuntary. And an analogy that I like to use in regards to this is, going to a movie theater, right? We pay money to go to a movie theater and watch a movie and get lost in the movie, where we have a number of emotions that arise. It can be like a roller coaster of emotions. And meanwhile, on the screen, everything is just happening involuntarily, without our input, without our say. But yet we still try and, tell the person who's going into a room where there's, a seemingly bad guy not to go in the room. We start yelling at the movie and we start having all of these roller coaster of emotions, even though we really have no control over anything that's really happening on the movie. It's over, it's gone, it's already written, it can't be changed. But yet we still find ourselves trying to bang on the movie theater screen to change a movie, metaphorically. And this is very, very similar to life here for me. Is joy comes in when you realize that everything is involuntary, and your joy is always a choice until it becomes just an acceptance, which is a state of mind. Your joy is a state of mind that only we can choose. And at first it seems like our joy is dependent on a particular form or a particular situation being a certain way. The movie being a certain way, the movie being going in a certain direction that the mind wants it to go. But really, we are just sitting in the audience just watching the movie, and we have to realize that whatever emotions are arising in the movie are coming from our own interpretation of what's happening on the movie screen, rather than, what's actually happening on the movie screen, as if that is the cause. It's our interpretation of the movie that is the cause, right? When someone dies on the movie theater screen, we have all of these sad emotions coming up. Oh, Jim Carrey died. Oh, and we start crying, we get sad, but really it's just our own interpretation of what's going on the movie screen, because the actor who's playing the movie or acting out the script isn't really dead. It's just a movie. And this is where joy comes in it for me, because we always have the choice of how we are going to perceive the movie, right? We can either get lost in the movie, or we can just remind ourselves that we are actually watching a movie, and I don't have to take it all seriously, because no one's actually dying. Whatever's happening on the movie screen, is just whatever's happening. But when there's no judgment placed on it, it becomes a joy. And so people would tell me at first that, life is hard, but really, to me, life is only hard if you're paddling upstream. And so it's very hard to paddle upstream by yourself, but the minute you let go is when you can just, let go of the paddle and just flow down the stream and enjoy the ride. You can enjoy the ride. And, you know, when we come to the realization that, you know, our joy, our peace, our happiness, whatever it may be, is always a state of mind, you know, it's always our decision whether we are going to be happy or not. You know, at first it seems like happiness is out of our control, and it only seems this way because we place emphasis on, you know, particular situations happening, and, you know, particular events going a certain way, which seem to, you know, which we think brings us joy. But once we just realize that, wow, in every single moment, the only choice I have is, you know, am I going to be peaceful right now, or am I going to get lost in whatever seems to be happening out here, even though it's all involuntary. You know, we come to where the real choice lies, which is on the mind level, right? Which is the state of mind. That I can either choose to be joyful right now, or I can not, you know. And as we, you know, work with our minds, when we work with what's happening on our on the mental level, things start to click into place. And for me, you know, I spent a lot of my teen years just putting all of my focus on the mental level, on what was arising for me mentally, all the thoughts that would be going through the mind, you know, all of the beliefs and all of the, you know, what was happening mentally. And I just devoted all of my focus to that level, rather than placing my happiness and placing my peace on the form level, right? Because the form can be, you know, the form's temporary. So if we're placing our joy and happiness and peace and love on what's temporary, then of course we're going to be experiencing the temporal emotions, the changing emotions, the upsetting emotions, the roller coaster of emotions, which come from that, right? But once we start to recognize our true being, which is, you know, underneath on the mind level, right, the stability starts to come in. Because the form, you know, using the analogy of the movie, right, we can just be watching whatever seems to be playing out on the movie theater screen from the seat of the audience in the movie theater. But, you know, we can just realize that our peace is always dependent on, am I going to get lost within the movie, or am I going to remember that, hey, I'm just watching a movie, and, you know, my peace is always available right now if I desire it singularly. You know, it's all about what are we desiring. In any moment of upset, we can always bring it back to, what am I actually desiring in the moment? You know, am I desiring for a situation to be a certain way, or am I desiring present peace? You know, Jesus calls this the peace that surpasseth human understanding, because it's not on a perceptual level. It's actually on a mind level. It's actually on like a being level, our own being. And so once we continuously choose joy, rather than, you know, playing out a particular situation or playing out a belief in a victim because we believe that something isn't going right in our way, then we come to the sweet acceptance of whatever may be playing out, and we just realize that our peace and our joy and our happiness and our love has always been within us, seemingly, even though the word within us is really a metaphor as well. And life just becomes a joy, and that's what it's been about for me, is just traveling around and connecting with all of the beloveds, and just sharing the joy and sharing the peace. And yeah, so that's going to be my little spiel for today. I can talk about this for hours and hours, but, you know, if we want to talk about this more, you're more than welcome just to message me, or, you know, we can have a call online. But I am currently in Whakatane, and I'll be heading down south to the south of the North Island for the weekend, and we'll see how that goes. So enjoy your day, guys. Enjoy this moment, and I love you always. Until next time.